You okay?
I'm great. Maybe don't wear a bra next time.
Slap some barbecue sauce on that.
Gosh, I'm sorry.
A big old behind. I love lamb.
Loud noises.
I love lamb.
Where'd you get a trident?
Where'd you get a trident?
Killed a guy. You might want to lay low for a while. Maybe get out of town.
Brick, you killed a guy.
Well, welcome to the first annual Trashe Canne Film Festival review. My name is Chill. As always, I have David and Leon. How are you boys doing tonight?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Oi, oi.
Oi, oi. So before we get this thing started, have you guys watched anything new this week?
I'm still on the MCU, baby.
MCU?
I just finished season 1 of Daredevil. Now it's Jessica Jones season 1.
So here's the thing. I actually really liked the first season of Jessica Jones, but I only liked it because I think David Tennant is in it.
Season 1 of Daredevil, I loved.
Oh, I love that
There
show.
were definitely some slow parts, like
kind of the
there's
middle.
lots of monologue in it, but Kingpin he's hard to hate.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
You feel for the character.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I really like it.
I love Daredevil.
I think that Foggy is a whiny bitch.
Yeah. First season.
Tell me you were a superhero. Right. I'm like, bro,
come on.
You didn't tell anybody. Get over it.
Right?
I think
the world's on fire. I get it. I'm like, Foggy. That's it. That's my rant about Daredevil.
Right.
Sorry.
You're good. So for me, the ranking of Daredevil seasons is 3, 1, and 2. Not saying that 2 is bad, but I just feel like it's the least Daredevil of the Daredevil show. Have you watched that at all?
No.
No?
I was ready for him to get his costume, though.
Yeah.
Costume.
If you fall off of like the whole thing, I know you
I'm
won't.
Bound and determined this
Dedicated,
time.
right.
It's going to happen.
If it does happen, then you need to at least finish Daredevil season 3.
Okay.
Lee?
I watched the first 2 episodes of Terminator Zero.
Nice.
What's that on?
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Kind of a slow burn, but it's not bad. Mm-hmm. It's anime. Really, it looks really nice.
It does. I was telling him because I binged it all at once. There's only like six or 8 episodes or something like that.
There's 8.
There's a couple things that drove me up the wall early on, and it kind of annoyed the crap out of me until the very end where it kind of explained why something happened. And I was like, okay, well, since, it was a glaring thing to me as a Terminator fan, I was like, what? Come on. And then it was explained later on, and then it gets like really explained.
So it made you feel better.
Yes, a lot better. Like,
Reeled him back in.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you?
One Piece, man.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
you're going to be on that longer than I'm on the MCU.
Listen, I don't know.
So
we just binged through Water 7 with 107 or 108 episodes.
How long are the episodes?
Like 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah. Dude, it was just so good, though. It was so good. Spoiler alert. I know that you guys aren't going to watch it, but like...
Nope.
Their ship, the Going Merry, they've had that since a couple episodes in. Mm-hmm. What is that called, Lee?
It's either the mooring or the keel.
The keel? Basically, this one long wood piece that every single,
If it goes down the center, that's the keel.
And it's underneath.
Yeah,
and
it's
since it's a wooden ship, if that breaks at all...
Yeah.
Then the ship's done. Like, you can't replace it at all.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with the Going Merry. And they had one episode where they just left this island with everything trying to attack them and all this bunch of emotions. And then the ship breaks in half. And then they have to get on another ship, honorarily burn the ship.
Oh, man.
Chelsea and I and Logan were in the room. And it's going through all of their times on the ship. And Logan starts bawling. And then I'm like, oh, buddy. And then I'm like, I start crying. And then Chelsea's like, you guys are ridiculous. And then she gets
I'm with Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm right there with her. You're ridiculous.
Only cartoon that's ever made me cry was Futurama. And that was the dog episode.
The dog.
Episode.
Yeah.
Listen.
And I didn't even sob. I just got the knot in the throat.
So spoiler to One Piece guys or gals or whoever. All right. Well, our icebreaker this week is, do you enjoy B movies? And if so, what's your favorite?
I mean, I like my fair share of Saturday night, late night movies. I'm going to have to say Killer Clowns from Outer Space probably is one of my favorites.
Really?
It's just ridiculous.
Okay.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
But I've seen it probably 30 times.
Nice.
They made a video game of it.
Yeah,
not
play
that
it.
long ago.
It's fun.
Okay.
It's fun. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
I love a good B movie. I used to really love trauma films, but then I found
Toxic
a few.
Avenger.
I found a few that took me too far.
Too far.
And I pulled out of trauma.
Too far.
Yeah, it was too far. It was too weird. But I definitely love my B movies. I love anything that like Mystery Science Theater does and old sci-fi movies and stuff like that. What about you?
I'm not really sure.
The Raid.
Sure,
That's
if you
a
want to.
C movie,
That's
buddy.
it.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Oh Oh
That was a
my
C.
gosh.
That's what we rated it.
Oh my gosh.
Never gets old.
I don't know if, because I don't think that Korean films or that Bollywood films would kind of fit in that category, but I'm telling you, there's one called RRR, and I cannot wait to review it on this podcast. It'd take up an entire night.
RRR. Is it animated?
No, it's not. And it is dubbed, too, for, casuals.
Me. Yeah.
Well, it's also like a 4-hour movie, too.
Oh, my God.
Now, good luck.
But anyway, moving on. So basically what we did for our first annual Trashe Canne Film Festival, thankfully dubbed by Lee,
Clever.
we all picked one movie each. We're going to kind of go over the movies, and then we're going to crown one as the winner of the Trashe Canne Film Festival.
And when you say winner, you mean the worst.
The worst.
Or the best.
The loser.
The winner.
Okay.
It's the worst.
The movies that we did, Lee picked...
Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
I can't even. I mean, that movie.
I'll tell you right now, after watching that movie and the other two movies,
Yeah.
it's an Academy Award-winning film. Like, it is night and day between the other two movies.
Yeah.
Night and day.
For
Of course,
sure.
a $5 million budget helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to
But
7,000, and I still can't find the budget for the item. I've looked
couldn't-
and looked
yeah.
and looked,
Yeah.
and I cannot find it.
But it's trash. I
Yeah.
mean, I watched it last night, and I really couldn't believe how much of a piece of shit it is.
it is a piece of shit.
It is not what I remember
Oh,
as
no,
a child
it's
watching.
terrible.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It is.
It's awful.
Awful.
Yeah.
And
And I
it's
chose
just-
1999, The Item,
Yeah.
which I kind of want to say it was like a student-made film.
It's a fever dream.
It is. I had watched this probably 2001 is when I watched it. I had rented it because we were renting like terrible horror movies, and we just pulled it from a local movie store. And I think 15 of us started watching the movie. 10 left mid-movie. The rest of us stayed. 2 of us stayed up. Sarah was the other girl that stayed up, and we finished it because we had to know how this piece of shit was going to end. And I never took the movie back to Hastings, which is no longer around, because I had to own the worst movie I had
made.
ever seen.
I
and
read some-
nothing has even come close to toppling.
I've read some of the user reviews of that movie.
Yeah.
And one lady bought it for $1 at Blockbuster and watched it and wants her money back.
Yeah.
It really, we'll get into it, but it is an undescribable, make you feel uncomfortable hot mess.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
At best.
I picked Samurai Cop from 1991, which has a cult following, believe it or not.
I'm part of it, baby.
And,
I
man,
love that movie.
It was awesome.
I think I've talked about it all week long.
Have you really?
Yeah, I love it. I was telling Jalissa about it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is she down?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I
All
said
right.
it's ridiculous, but it's not going to be my crown because I think it's great.
Right.
I don't even know if I could give it an F. I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's exactly what it should be.
Yeah.
What, Samurai Cop?
Yeah, I freaking loved it. It's hilarious.
I'm going to bring up a quote that you said during the Cannes Film Festival, Lee.
The Trashe Canne Film Festival?
Yeah.
What was
so,
that?
but first, trivia.
All right, trivia.
Name the main characters from each movie that we watched.
Alex is the item, right?
Yes.
I don't remember the Samurai Cop's name. Tommy or
I don't know.
I can't remember his
Johnny
name.
or something.
What's his name?
His name is Joe Marshall.
Joe.
Joe
Yeah,
Marshall.
Joe
Joe and Frank.
Yep.
And then, God, I just watched freaking Friday the 13th, and I can't remember
It's
the chick's name.
The chick's name. It's the niece of the guy on the
Yeah.
chaperone. I don't know her name. I didn't care about her, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No, I love the boxer. He was my favorite part of the whole
Oh
movie.
my gosh, the boxer.
Okay, what?
That was so bad.
Whenever I'm reading it, I think of it as Renee, but it's Renee Wickman.
Yeah, I got nothing. It doesn't matter.
And then 2, what year did each movie release?
Mine's 1999.
Okay.
1989 for
Yep.
Friday the 13th.
And
1991 for Samurai Cop.
There
Yeah.
you go. Now this one, the last 3 questions are specific to
I
each
can't
movie.
believe Samurai Cop was a 90s movie.
I know.
It looks like a 70s or 80s movie.
Right.
It's because it was
Like
shot
79,
with a, that's because it
81.
was shot with a camcorder.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For
One
sure.
take.
I mean, it's a terrible movie, but I loved it.
Oh god, it was awful.
It's awful. It really is awful.
Question 3. How is Jason resurrected at the beginning of the movie?
He's laying on
line,
a power
baby.
on the power line, and the anchor from the boat comes across it and breaks it, and it electrifies him and brings him back to
how
life.
is he not just mush at that point in time? How have the fish not eaten him?
Oh, he was
They don't want him.
pretty degraded.
He was nasty.
Yeah.
He was gross.
Number 4. How many drag queens show up at Rita's house? And
4.
The item?
3 drag queens and a guy.
It's 4, though, I think.
It's 4 people.
I have 4.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Because they said 5 or something like that, and someone corrects it in the movie, and she's like, only 4 people came.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4.
What city does Samurai Cop take place in?
Los Angeles.
That's correct. Bonus question. Which movie has the lowest rating on Rotten Tomatoes popcorn meter?
Oh.
Popcorn meter.
Yeah, which is not critical meter. And you don't have...
It's still Friday the 13th.
I think it is Friday the 13th.
It's still Friday the 13th.
Okay, Samurai Cop.
It was like a 40...
47% for the popcorn meter.
What is the popcorn meter on
Friday?
Yeah.
26%. So based on that, do you guys still want to stick with
Wait,
Friday?
You asked what the lowest one was.
I know. I haven't said what the item is.
Oh.
The item
what's
doesn't
the
have
item?
one.
A popcorn meter?
I don't think it did. I never saw it.
I didn't see it either. What is it?
What do you guys want to guess?
What
Is
is
it
it?
higher or lower than Friday?
It's higher.
I'm going to go lower.
Lower. 21% on the popcorn meter.
Wow.
Because they don't have enough critical reviewers for the item, reviewed it at the time, so they only had a popcorn meter. Well, the first movie we're going to get into is Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan from 1989. It is a slasher horror movie written and directed by Rob Hedden, starring Kane Hodder, Jensen Daggett, Scott Reeves, Barbara Bingham, Peter Mark Richman, Martin Cummins. The synopsis: after Jason is resurrected once again, he follows a group of newly graduates as they board a cruise headed to New York City.
I have so many problems with this movie.
So why did you pick Jason?
Okay, I'm going to tell you
Takes
why
Manhattan.
I picked it, and y'all are just going to be upset with me. But I just went through my Voodoo and found the lowest score. Now, it wasn't the lowest score that I had, but I was trying not to torture people. I have a movie called Strangeland with Dee Schneider.
Yeah.
Comes in at a whopping 6% on the tomato meter, but it was not fun.
Yeah.
You're going to need a shower after that movie. So
Was this the first time that you watched the movie? Obviously
Friday
not.
the 13th, no. I'm sure I saw that probably not long after it came out.
Agreed.
I didn't go see it in the theater.
I didn't either, but
Right.
I definitely rented it or
Yeah.
had it in like the box set or something like
Yeah,
that.
I have it in a box set on Vudu. I got 8 Friday the 13th movies for $13.
Yeah.
Nice.
Couldn't beat it. So
They stopped after this one, right?
no,
They didn't?
There's Jason X.
Yeah, Jason
Oh,
goes to
yeah.
And
hell.
then Jason goes to
But those
hell,
were, like,
and then Jason versus Freddy.
Well, no, I'm saying, but Jason X is later, right?
Yeah, it's
There's
the
a
one
gap.
Yeah.
in
They were
space.
pumping these movies out, and
Oh,
I think
yeah.
this was the final of like them pumping them out since the beginning,
Right.
And I think they finally
They
had
came.
reached.
The one came out about every other year.
Yeah, I think they finally had reached the.
The end.
Where are we going from there?
What was
you
really
know?
weird is
How you going to resurrect him now?
Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D had the same tomato score, 11%.
Yeah.
Really?
But I picked 8 because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many things about this movie.
So
It's so bad.
if I remember right, whenever I was kind of researching it, I don't think I put it in the facts about it. This was the last time that the production company had the rights for Friday the 13th, and then they sold it off. So anything after this movie was made by...
Got it.
I'm sure that I watched this on like an AMC binge watch where they had all the Friday the 13th or something like
Right.
that. So let's talk a bit about the movie before we get into spoilers. We had a runtime of 100 minutes, released July 28th, 1989, had a budget of between 5.1 and 5.5 million, and it grossed $14.3 million. Top box office for August 1989. Number 1, Parenthood,
That's a
Turner
great
and
movie.
Hooch,
Another
Turner,
good one.
A great movie.
When Harry Met Sally,
Great movie.
The Lethal Weapon 2,
Yes.
The Abyss,
Damn.
Batman,
Damn.
Uncle Buck, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Child, and then 10 Locked Up.
I mean, good luck.
Any guess where Jason Takes Manhattan's at?
The bottom.
Bottom.
The bottom?
Yeah.
Number 17, actually.
Yeah.
It made $15 million with a budget of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they tripled their budget, which is why we got Jason
The
Goes to
Abyss.
Hell.
I haven't seen
and
The Abyss in so long.
Right.
What a great flick.
It was a good movie.
Waiting for that Blu-ray release.
Yeah.
James Cameron getting on it. Couple things, no spoilers. According to an interview, Fangoria magazine.
It's like a
Horror
magazine.
Okay. On August 1989, Kane Hodder vomited on cue in the final scene after drinking several pitchers of water, and this was not a special effect at all. So,
Wow.
Why?
and then also in the diner, the man Jason throws into the mirror is Ken Kersinger, who would go on to play Jason in Freddy vs. Jason in 2003.
He's a big boy.
Yeah. Kurzinger also doubled as Jason in a few brief shots in this movie as well.
Nice.
Pretty cool. So basically, we get Jason gets woken up by anchor pulling up.
Yeah,
we already started the movie.
A yacht next to the freaking camp.
Yeah.
Not a yacht, but a boat that two current graduates are enjoying themselves on.
Yeah.
Right.
And the anchor crosses over the power cable, wakes him up with the electricity, and then hilarity ensues, as the two fornicators get killed, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You do see boobs in this within the first 3 minutes.
I guess you could technically call them that.
But you don't even see anything else after that.
No. They don't show up to like the graduation yacht.
Nope.
No.
Right, or
The
cruise.
cruise ship.
Yeah.
Call it that.
But also, so here's just some quick pitches. Who's going to take all the seniors on a cruise ship to Manhattan on a boat that seems like it couldn't exist, that it's like the TARDIS? It's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, he bitches about her chemistry homework.
Right?
And her graduate.
Her biology
homework and the graduates.
project due.
Is there no one in the engine room ever working?
Never.
Nope.
Why are the students allowed in the engine room?
Because-
the 3-story tall engine room,
Yes.
I might add, on this
Awesome.
cruise ship.
Secondly, where's Crystal Lake? Is it a lake?
Right.
Because if it's a lake, it's not connected to another body of water.
Right.
To make it to New York
On a cruise ship.
on a cruise ship.
Well, lakes can still be connected. You know what I'm saying? But
I want to know where this lake is that connects, that gets them to Manhattan.
It
Because
goes-
I
Gets 'em
always thought
connected
it was
to
like
the-
middle of the country.
Atlantic
oh, I
Ocean.
did too.
Minnesota, Wisconsin-y like feel.
So did I.
Have they ever said where it's at? No.
I don't know.
Okay.
I always
There are so many plot holes in this flipping movie.
Yeah.
And the blood is
And
terrible.
yet it's better than both of those other two movies.
The deaths are terrible.
It's all bad.
What's floating in the bottom of that?
Chaw.
There's something floating in this, man.
Tea leaves.
I'm telling you, there's something in there.
Is it? I see it. Well, we just bought
6
it.
months ago.
Oh my gosh.
You've been drinking poison?
Probably.
Probably just tea leaves.
Man, I don't think that's part of the process.
She is a little floaty. A little black one.
Yeah, it does look like little leaves. I think you're not going to be poisoned.
I think it'll be fine.
I'm gonna have diarrhea tonight. 'cause
Probably.
this freaking-
Probably.
But that's from the
tea.
craft beer, not the...
What's this tea? Oh no. So yeah, just very briefly, they get on a boat.
They get on a boat, and they're on that boat for a good...
half the movie.
Hold on. It's
3/4 of
Jason
the
Takes
movie.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
And he's only in Manhattan for 30 freaking minutes.
Yep.
If that.
If that.
That.
And he doesn't take Manhattan, he takes the alley.
Yep.
Where no one ever is.
Oh, there's like a couple people.
He gets taken by the third rail.
The death scenes are terrible. The buildup is terrible. The little inner relationships are terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah.
All terrible.
Your dad's a captain. You should be able to drive a
Drive that
cruise boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
What?
I'm in high school. I'm sure I can figure all this out.
I
Duh.
got you this. Something new and something old. I'm pretty sure that's for weddings and not becoming a cruise ship boss or captain.
Right?
And then what? You don't know all of the technicalities of pulling
So,
a cruise ship out of the
something
harbor.
tells me also that you don't just hand over the keys to the boat to whomever you feel like giving them to.
Just drink it. It's fine.
You'll be okay.
Tea leaf.
I mean, if we're in spoilers, right? Let's
Oh,
get
yeah.
to spoilers. Let's talk about how at no time in the history of me
Ever.
guessing would I ever guess that's how they killed Jason.
Toxic waste.
In the sewers of New
Sewers
York.
of
New York.
Toxic waste.
Yep. And you know what?
Toxic waste is spill off from like nuclear plants.
Oh, yeah.
Not a wave of
Yeah.
Turds.
And
then
why
New
did
York-
they make him say mom when he was like melting away?
Dude, I don't know.
I can't even.
I can't either.
So here's my problem with this movie. I didn't have fun watching it. I more was like, what the is going on?
Right.
I'll tell you what I took away from this movie is, like I said, after watching the other two movies, there's things that you appreciate.
Yeah.
Like the camera work
Yeah.
was
Actually,
actually
the soundtrack was amazing in this
yeah,
movie.
The sound and the camera work were
Yeah,
a
they were
breath
good.
of fresh air
They're-
after
yeah.
watching those other two.
They were decent. They were
They
decent.
were better
Right.
than the other two
Which is-
movies.
Comparatively
Which
better.
is not saying.
Comparatively.
Not
Yeah.
saying they're good.
Yeah.
That is the plus of this movie,
Right.
was the camera work, the sound, and the soundtrack.
And the special effects.
Maybe
But they were
Somewhat.
terrible.
Somewhat.
Did it go over my head? But why did Rennie have visions of boy Jason drowning? Was
Because
that
she
even
saw
paid off?
because she saw him when she was a kid when her uncle tried to teach her to swim.
He
He
threw her
grabbed
off
her
the boat.
grabbed her
Right,
legs and
right.
pulled her under.
But I didn't know if there was anything else.
That's it.
to
That's
the-
it.
She had the trauma from a child, so she kept seeing
And she had it locked away.
Mm-hmm.
And then she remembered as she did in the movie, that it was her uncle that threw her in the water.
What else is he in?
Hell, I don't know.
He plays like a teacher that wears like a bow tie.
You're thinking of Bill Nye the Science Guy.
I absolutely am not thinking of him.
I don't know.
I shouldn't bitch too much about the story plot in a Friday the 13th movie.
No,
but,
you really shouldn't.
you know, the
It
kills
should
should have been
be-
satisfying.
It should be known that Jason's going to come and just
Right.
kill every teenager he possibly
And you know,
can.
the thing too is that you got to have killable teenagers. You know what I'm saying? Like these kids have to be
right when you
assholes.
see boobies, you know that
You know they're dead.
they're dead.
Or drug use.
Right.
Or alcohol use.
Yeah, stupid.
Telling you.
Yeah. Yeah, you get here's my biology homework professor, and she's in a...
She did a pretty good job.
And the
I mean, she
two-piece-
labeled the things.
I guess. And then
She did do a good job. That was the
tried
best
to-
part of the movie.
they tried to blackmail the professor, and
Hey, he went along for just a little bit with it.
Yes, he did.
I think he was just in shock.
He fell on the bed with her on top, and there was
Yeah.
enough time to film, and then he was like, "Get off me!"
Don't do that.
What are you doing?
He blew it. They were already filming it. He should have just went it. But I mean, that's what it is. The whole plot, the entire thing,
It's ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. He does not take Manhattan.
No,
He
doesn't
took a-
even. He doesn't even take the sewers.
He took a couple shots on the roof during that
Does not
boxing
take the
match.
sewers. He did. That didn't stun him at all.
No,
It did stun him. He was just like,
he just
boom,
kept walking backwards.
boom.
And then he says, "Take your best shot,"
And
and,
he
he sure
literally-
does.
Punches someone's head off.
That's what I remember the most about. Like when I think of this movie,
I'm
that's
just-
what I remember about this movie.
In awe of the man's upper body strength to be
Yeah.
able to knock someone's head off.
I kind of feel bad
literally.
when I look this guy up. This is his movie that he's best known for.
That's terrible.
So also,
agree.
there was a
He's done
part
so
where
much.
Jason was made out to be a good guy for like 30 seconds or so.
I don't remember this one.
Rennie gets kidnapped and pulled into an alley.
Oh right.
And she is drugged up, and
Yeah, she
things
gets
are
good
looking
hot.
That she never
real-
has any effect from, by the way.
Yeah.
She just
Just
she
a
had a
natural.
little bit like after when she was running away, it showed like her view, and it was all like, ooh.
Yeah, but I think that heroin.
Yeah, heroin would have knocked her the F out.
Yeah.
She would have been asleep.
Yeah.
There wouldn't have been no fighting the two guys at all after the hot dose of heroin that he gave her.
Also,
And
why are there just like trash cans full of toxic waste everywhere in New York City?
'cause it's New York,
with
man.
rats coming out of
It's
it.
because it's New York.
I
man.
guess.
New York.
I
during the
I
80s.
wish I could have visited New York in the 80s because it is just a shithole.
It was wild.
Yeah.
Best place on earth.
You betcha.
City never sleeps.
Also, well, there's toxic waste.
In the sewers,
There's got to be turtles down there too.
alligators
Turtles
and alligators.
and alligators. You're
But
right.
Definitely turtles.
Yep.
At least 4 of them. Mm-hmm. And a
For
rat.
sure. And a big rat.
Big
Yeah,
rat.
a big
Bite your
rat.
head off, man.
Yep.
Okay, so I guess would you recommend this movie?
No.
No.
Not
No.
even the biggest Friday the 13th fan would enjoy this movie. It's terrible.
Yeah, it is trash. I would not recommend this movie.
No.
Cool. All right.
It's garbage.
Well, moving on to The Item from 1999.
Oh my God.
Now, when we looked it up, it labeled every single subgenre that you
Except
could possibly
Western.
have. Yeah, it did have Western. It did have Western.
No way.
But we're just going to classify it comedy, horror, action. Written and directed by Dan Clark. Inspired by Quentin Tarantino films. And that's a thing.
Listen,
Inspired by
I have some words for Dan Clark. I'd like to meet him.
Good thing this movie also starred Dan Clark, Judy, Jean Kwon, Don Marie,
Listen, you
Ferrara.
don't even have to. None of these
Yeah.
people exist anymore.
Dan Lake, Dave Pressler, and it's about 4 felons make a deal to hold a mysterious creature for 24 hours. David, why did you pick The Item?
Well, like I had told the story before. I had seen it. We had just randomly picked it up at a local video store.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And I dubbed it the worst movie I've ever seen, and nothing has been able to topple it. Nothing close to it.
We sat down, the 3 of us,
I
along
felt
with people.
guilty. I want you to know that I felt guilty. I watched the trailer to Samurai Cop, so I was like excited to watch
Right,
Samurai
right,
Cop because I
yeah.
knew what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Right.
Like a Kung Pao feeling like terrible movie, right?
Right.
But I knew what I was bringing.
Yeah.
And I knew the trauma that I was bringing to people.
You know, I really wasn't traumatized by the movie.
Chelsea was.
I was too. I hated this
I was
movie.
just in awe of the absurdity of this movie.
And I think it was trying to be artsy. Like
Oh, it
that's
definitely was.
That's the defense of the movie is that there's like
genre.
well, no, there's like subtext in there, like talking about trans people or like drag queens, and like she's an artist that creates all these things. And
it doesn't go anywhere.
It doesn't go anywhere. No. It's like her
art is
sprinkle
obvious.
of it. Her art is obvious. I agree.
Yeah.
My gosh. The acting is horrendous.
Yes.
So it was better than Samurai Cop.
So this was our first.
Yeah.
This was our first time watching the movie. We all got together and went over to Johnny Raincloud's house and had a good old time. We watched The Item and Samurai Cop. The Item first, followed by Samurai Cop.
I'm glad we started that way.
I am
because
too.
Samurai Cop ended like on a high note.
I felt like it.
Honestly, I think The Item made Samurai Cop look like a
better
fantastic movie.
See, I feel the opposite.
That's insane.
Really? I think you're crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die on this hill.
Yeah.
Like there's no way.
I'm not gonna
there's
fight
no
you too
way
hard. I'm gonna
the
say
Samurai
my
Cop
piece.
is
After
worse
we talk
than
about
this movie.
after we talk about Samurai Cop, I'm going to tell you why it is.
Okay. The Item has a runtime of 100 minutes, which was way too long.
Excruciating.
It's hard. It's a hard.
And let's talk about this for just a second. The DVD knows what it's doing.
Yes, it does.
The DVD had no UI
Also,
to tell you how long you've been into this friggin' movie. You just gotta go.
Also, the
through
cover
it.
of it shows a creature that doesn't even exist in the movie.
Yes.
No.
I really got to see some deleted
And
scenes on it.
it
Though. I do
says-
have to.
it says it's the director's cut as well. We watched the director's
That's
cut.
the only version that's out.
Is it
there.
really?
Yeah. But
Yeah, I don't think a studio is gonna say.
cut this out. 'Cause
Yeah.
Guess what?
If they would have, the movie would have been like 3 minutes long.
It was made by Artesian Films. You remember them?
I think it was distributed by them.
But
I
I
I think
remember
that he
buying
made
ice
the movie.
from them.
I think that he made the movie and then they distributed the movie.
Okay.
But they're known to distribute some shit movies.
Yeah.
They're not Hollywood's elite.
So I could not find a budget for it,
Wow, that
nor
doesn't
could I
surprise me.
find how much it grossed. I can tell you that the box office for, I put February 1999, Patch Adams, Stepmom, A Civil Action, You've Got Mail, Varsity Blues, The Prince of Egypt, A Bug's Life, The Thin Red Line, Mighty Joe Young, and Shakespeare in Love.
Trash.
And this movie did not get a theatrical release.
Darn it.
The only fact that I could somewhat find about this movie, which I think will raise Lee's appreciation of it. According to the film's director of photography and editor, Michael Mayhew, the Cheeto brothers, Charlie, Stephen, and Ed of Killer Clowns from Outer Space fame, generously let them use their shop in Burbank, California to fabricate the creature.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have let him.
No,
but,
they
you
shouldn't
know.
have.
Yeah.
I blame them.
Yeah, 4 people meet up and
The desert.
With a doctor
A
who sells them.
scientist.
Who's
A scientist.
Sorry, a scientist that always wears sunglasses. I'm not going to get into it. Anyways, they buy the item for the guy because they have to watch it for 24 hours for someone to come and get the item. They take it back to the main character's girlfriend's house, who's an artist.
Hilarity
These people are
It was not
murderers,
hilarious.
by the way.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
if you get in the way, they're just going to kill you.
Yeah.
The end. They don't even second guess it.
Nope.
Alex is a psychopath. Like,
Yes,
in the
straight
movie.
up.
He
What's
just straight up.
really awesome is they carry weapons that hold ridiculous amounts of
Would you
bullets.
count 61 bullets
63 shots out of one
out of one
gun.
gun without
and
reloading?
that was after the
It
opening
was like
scene.
30 solid shots.
Yep.
Pause. 30
30
solid
more
shots.
solid shots.
Like I looked over and you were counting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, because some drag queens of the chick that owns the house show up, and she had gone out to get food in an espresso maker.
Chinese. Yeah.
Kung Fu transvestites.
Right, Kung Fu transvestites, which I think was the best part of the entire movie.
I
right,
agree.
like
Yep.
the Kung Fu transvestite.
The chase scene.
Yes, yes. So that's the best part of the entire movie, and it's still trash.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, I've watched some shit movies. Like, I've watched some shit movies. I've never sat through a movie and just was hoping that it'd be over. If I ever wanted to torture somebody, I would sit them down and I would Clockwork Orange them, and then I'd put this movie on one time. Not on repeat for 24 hours, just one time.
And then answer no
And then-
questions.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
This is what the
You're
CIA
going to
should
say,
use.
this is what you're going to say. You're going to wish you could get to the end of this movie until you get to the
And
end of this movie.
it's a pretty long movie.
Because at the end of this movie
It's the worst.
is the worst
finale
scene that I've ever seen in my life.
It's
So,
hilarious,
anyways, this
though.
alarm goes off, and they have to. They were were instructed by
There's
the
rules.
scientist.
It's like a gremlin. It's got rules.
It's got rules. You got to take it out of the box. You got to take the tube off. You got to spray some disinfectant on it to make sure it doesn't die, right?
Right.
If it wakes up.
And then
Right.
it has a cream that you're supposed to lather
Oh
on
my
to
God,
kill
I
it.
forgot about the tail. I forgot about
Right?
it. I forgot
The
about
tail.
it. Yeah.
The tail
so
that
Alex,
has a-
being a psychopath, he goes and he's looking at this creature, and the tail looks like, I can't even describe it.
It looks like a hot dog, but not a hot dog. And it looks like somebody took the catheter and then shoved it in the tip of a hot dog.
Like it opens like an alien egg, like
Kind
the
of.
end of it does.
And it's sucking around the
It's like
the
it's
tube.
feeding it or whatever. Anyways, but so he goes and he's like, there's slimy stuff all over it. All it's so funny. He runs his finger along and he's like looking at it. And someone in the room was like, he
Yeah.
better not put that in his mouth. And
gonna
he,
eat it.
he licked his finger. And like even the people in the movie were like, why would you do that? And he's like, what? Anyways, this thing
terrible.
wakes up
Of course it does.
and it says, Alex.
The thing starts talking.
It just says one word at the beginning, and they put it like in a trash can.
and it looks
in a trash can.
and it looks like
And Fatty watches it.
and you know what? That's his name.
Fatty.
Like I looked it up.
It's
He
Fatty.
doesn't have any other name. He
I'm gonna
just
make
goes
a
by
Fatty action figure.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I'm gonna make an item action figure.
No,
Just
you'd
sell
be
it randomly.
Nope, you'd be demonetized so quickly.
So,
The item looks like a
dick.
No, we're
Clitoris?
gonna say nope. It definitely looks like a pale mushroom.
with giant eyeballs that are so
Yeah.
and a
And
big,
a big
mouth.
Yep.
that looks like a puppet.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, anyways,
It's terrible.
So when this thing talks to you, it takes psychic control over you and
gets-
makes you crazy.
Yeah.
But here's the
Gets
thing
in your
too,
head.
is that if you ever look at the cover of it, it looks like a reptile eyeball. So my interpretation,
No, but it has scaly skins too.
yeah. Oh, well, on the poster,
Right, that's what I said. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it looks
not
like
even
an
the same
alligator
creature.
or something. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be too bad. It's just going to be
Yeah.
like an alligator getting loose and it's going to kill everybody. And I was just waiting
Nope.
for the box to open up and then kill all these fucking idiots. And
Nope.
that's not how that happens.
They basically kill each other because they're crazy.
well, it talks them into
Yeah,
killing
it's like
each other.
psychic.
Yeah.
Talks them into it, and then at the very end, it kills everyone dies.
Not everyone.
Except for one person that walks out with money.
That's right.
That's it. So going into this as well,
She Sigourney Weavered it.
you think that
Yeah, baby.
you would think that it'd be easier because, like, if you're trying to put yourself through it and you're just like, oh, I gotta watch it just to watch it, and then you kind of make up these things on like, at least I know I was, where I'm like, okay, well, we're just gonna sit here and it's gonna kill them off one by one. That's how these movies work,
Right?
And it takes so long between each person. They even have fake outs where it's like, oh, this person's gonna die. No, they don't. Everybody's constantly pointing guns at each other. Oh, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just
Yeah, they're all
joking."
crazy.
Yeah.
They're all insane.
And people get beat over the head with bats, and then
they're fine.
we get Quentin Tarantino dialogue, but it's so shitty that I just don't care. I can't tell you how much I hated this movie.
I told you that's why I brought it.
I'm not
You're not
glad that I
offending
watched
me.
it.
I agree
I know,
with you.
but I'm just I'm trying to explain. I love movies.
You'll
That's why I have this podcast.
You'll never be able to
ever.
explain this movie until you make someone watch it. I
I'm
feel like
never gonna
I feel
do
like it's
that,
like The
though.
Ring. Yeah, you make someone watch the tape, and sorry, you only have 7 days to live
Oh,
afterwards.
God.
So I made Rick, who did Jaws with us, right?
Right.
I made him watch it, and I just got F you. That was the response. Like after he watched it, text me. But all the time, I just send him a picture of the item, and I just get F you. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I warned him. I said, "Do you want to watch the worst horror movie ever made?" And he was like, "There's no way."
It's
and
the
he
worst
watched it. And he
movie
was
ever
like,
made.
He's like, literally, that I don't even understand what just
No.
happened to me. Yeah.
I don't.
Also-
the difference between
You can watch this on YouTube for free if anyone is inclined to get on YouTube and watch 1999's The Item.
Does it have the ending?
Yeah.
yeah,
It has the ending.
I think so. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
doesn't
on YouTube.
show anything.
It shows her boobies a little bit.
A little bit, but
Anyways,
doesn't show anything else.
It ends with the girlfriend having intercourse with
The item.
The item.
Relations with it.
Relations.
Yeah.
Jesus, peepaw. Yeah, they have coitus. And that's how the movie
Sexual
ends.
congress.
You want to call it that?
That's how the movie ends.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
And then she kills herself.
you see the doorknob and the blood wiggling, and that's how. Now, do you want to watch this with director commentary? Because
No.
it's on the DVD.
No.
I'm so
you know
interested
what?
in it, I'm
you know
not gonna
what?
lie.
I think it'd be more enjoyable.
I don't want to listen to that idiot talk.
The
That guy's
Dan.
an idiot. Yes.
Yeah.
He went on to do like Nickelodeon stuff. I looked him up.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
He's an idiot.
That makes sense.
So, Lee, would you recommend this movie?
No, absolutely not. It makes no sense. It's incoherent. It's absurd. It's
It's torture.
It's torture. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Except people die.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It's not even fun.
No, it's not fun.
That's why
It's
I felt
not
bad.
fun. It's not really. Fun. It's not even funny.
There's a few funny like lines, but they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you're laughing because you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because I don't have anything else to do.
Right. Well, we all know Calvin isn't going to recommend this movie.
Not at all.
I would
Absolutely
recommend
not.
I do recommend The Raid over this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'd watch
all
The
day.
Raid.
I would too. If I had a choice, the item in The Raid.
Definitely.
I'd definitely
Well,
watch The Raid.
that's
So
a plus. It's better
got
than
that
the
one,
item.
buddy.
Yeah.
It's better than the item.
I'd rather watch The Raid over all three of these movies.
It's
Yeah?
trash.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, all three of them.
Okay.
Let's get into our third and final movie, which was Samurai Cop from 1991.
Oh dear.
Oh, I'm a big
God.
fan now, baby.
Samurai Cop is an action crime
I
crime
laughed
movie.
out loud like 20, like big
Yes.
laugh
Yes.
20
Yes.
times in this
and
movie.
I'm going to get to that part.
Okay.
It wasn't supposed to be that funny.
I know, but it was, and I
And
love
that's
it.
why it's worse than the item. Because
No
this
way.
movie was supposed to be legitimate. Like, it was supposed to
I
be
get
a
it.
real
I get it.
action movie.
It's like The Room with
And
his
then-
Tommy, whoever.
Tommy
the-
Wiseau.
the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, technically. Shot
Technically.
Yeah.
horribly.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
Acted even worse. The sound was unbearable at points. Like, you couldn't even hear people sometimes.
Right.
It was so bad. The
Well-
action was god awful.
Right.
It was bad all the way around, with 3 sex scenes that go on for about 3 minutes too long each
I know. I
time.
missed the last one.
Probably was like 10 minutes, man.
Bummed
It was
me out.
super uncomfortable.
I was super sad.
I was more uncomfortable with the end of the raid than any one of those scenes.
Wait, you mean the item?
Yeah, the item. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
I was uncomfortable at the end of the raid too.
Oh
'cause-
my gosh.
Wow.
So
Why,
anyway,
because
What
there's
happened?
No story.
Samurai Cop from 1991 was written and directed by Amir Shervan, inspired by Lethal Weapon, starring Robert Zadar, Matt Hannon, Mark Fraser, Gerald Okamura, and
Pretty common last name.
yeah,
Who played Joe Marshall? What was that guy's name?
that was Matt Hannon.
That guy's terrifying. He
Yeah.
gets that look on his face. Who was his partner?
Frank.
Mark
He was
Fraser.
the best part of this entire
I
movie.
love
His
Frank.
black gift.
Oh my god, he was the best part of this movie.
Why'd you go under?
I'm an undercover cop.
I'm an undercover cop.
God, blow my head off.
I forgot to put a plot synopsis, but it's
There
basically
isn't one.
There really isn't one.
no. Basically, this guy Joe gets invited on to tag along
He's
with the LAPD.
the samurai cop that does nothing samurai-like.
He has a katana twice.
It's not his.
Well, you know, he still wields it.
He's a womanizing Lethal Weapon wannabe.
And they're
Mel
ba-
Gibson wannabe.
They're taking down a gang called the Katana Gang, which is a Japanese gang.
You got to tell the best part of the best part of this entire movie. That the best part is the fact of the wig.
Yes.
You got to tell the story.
So basically, from
The best.
from the research that I did, they shot the movie with Mark Hannon having long flowing locks of love. And then they had to go back in and reshoot half of the movie after Mark Hannon had already shaved off all of his hair. So they got the most gorgeous black-haired wig that they could possibly find. And there are like multiple cuts of Samurai Cop having real hair and then
then a
having
wig.
a wig.
And back.
And it's super
And forth.
obvious.
And back.
Oh,
And forth.
Yes.
Hey, come here.
Get over here. Get over here. Talk to you for a second.
Literally use the same sound bites.
Yeah.
Unironically.
Yeah. So
3
as we
times.
watched the movie, right, every scene that had a wig, someone would go, wig.
Wig.
Like every single time.
wig's back.
The wig's
Yeah.
back. Wig.
God, it was so bad. So bad. So bad.
So bad.
So
I would watch this movie again.
God, it was so bad.
I would watch it again. I'm sorry. I had so much fun watching this movie.
I think Logan could edit a movie better than whoever edited this movie.
Oh, probably, but man, I had so much fun.
God, it was terrible. I mean, do you remember the scene like they're in the Katana's house?
Yeah.
And you've got the dude walking back and forth with his monologue, and then he's got his 2 cronies standing over here, and it looks like they're in a different house.
Yeah.
Because the 2 different cameras put put off two different kinds of light.
Well, what about when he's fighting like one of the main guys and he's surrounded with grass and doesn't have a wig on, and when he does have the wig on, he's in a dirt field, and they cut in between and during the fight.
Yeah.
Different
3 times.
times they've shot this scene, and how they're trying to get something on the bad guy,
And this is
but all the bad
somehow-
guys just keep shooting at the cops, but they don't have anything on the bad guys.
Nope.
Listen, I am fully aware that this movie is trash and shit and terrible, and I loved it.
I did too.
Well, I thought it was trash and shit and terrible, and I hated it.
But we laughed the entire time.
Unironically, though, that's the point. It's like it wasn't supposed to be that funny,
He was
and
an
we weren't laughing at the things that were supposed to be funny.
He
We
was
were
an-
laughing at the complete absurdity of this whole entire train wreck of a film that is just god awful.
He's
offends my senses.
He's an undercover cop.
Oh god, it was so bad.
The scene where he is flirting with the nurse, and she's like, "Do you want to go back to my place?" And then it keeps cutting back to Frank, and I wish we had video right now, but his expressions are like, "Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
right,
Oh, yeah.
yeah."
Frank is the
Get
best,
it.
man.
His reaction shots are perfect. Oh my gosh. So I picked this movie. It was my first time watching it as well. I picked it basically because of the culture around this movie. I've heard that this is just absurdity and just an awful movie, and I
did
wanted
not lie.
I wanted to experience it. Has a runtime of 96 minutes. It was released November 30th, 1991. It had a budget of $7,000 and it grossed $387,000.
Which is why we got a sequel.
A sequel, like 26 years
Right.
later.
I'm really not interested in seeing the sequel now that I know
No.
that it's like made to be this way.
You're right.
Like, I think the charm of this movie is that it was not meant to be this way.
So, top box office: Hook, Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered
Country.
Good
Country,
one.
Beauty and the Beast,
Share your pain.
The Addams Family, My Girl, The Last Boy Scout,
God dang, good
Father
luck.
of the Bride, Cape Fear,
Jeez.
JFK,
Jeez.
and number 10 is Bugsy.
I saw JFK in the theater.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
That's
That's one of my
long.
brother's favorite movies.
It was
Really?
so long.
Yeah. This is not on that list.
I wonder
No.
why.
No. No.
Because it's the worst movie ever
No, I'm
made.
saying like it's not even. Does it even have a number?
No.
No, it does
No,
not.
it does not have
Well,
a
it made
number.
380,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it did good for 7,000.
Yes.
That's a good, solid investment.
Just think if they would have put $100 million into it.
Would have better cameras,
Look like Lethal
no
Weapon.
wigs. It wouldn't be as fun.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have Frank in it.
It'd be Lethal Weapon.
It would be Lethal Weapon.
That's true. That's true.
There's so many lines in this movie.
Oh, the beautiful one-liner.
For sure. Oh my gosh.
Wait, didn't the guy go back in and kiss the chief?
He did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Frank went back in because the pissed off police captain's always yelling at him, you know, fuckers and da da da. And Frank runs back in and he has his head down and he kisses the top of the chief's forehead and then he just loses it again. I like to think that he did that as a prank because they thought they were going to cut that part out of the movie and then they're just like, no, it's hilarious. Keep it in.
It's so bad.
It's pretty bad.
They spent a lot of
It's
money on a lion head prop that's in the office, and it's like the most distracting thing. I could not watch anything else
Oh,
going
in
on.
the
this
in the
scene.
ladies.
Oh my
apartment,
God,
all
the
lion
lion.
head.
Right.
Focused on that thing for a good 10 minutes.
The way they shot it too was to purposefully keep it in frame every time too.
Stand by the
Oh, they
line.
really did. And it's like yarn.
It's
Yes,
the cheapest looking thing.
ever
Beautiful.
majestic.
$7,000 budget.
Like I said, I really did talk about this movie
All
all week long.
Nice.
Like just how terrible it is, but how much I laughed my ass off.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be realistic. It's only been 2 days.
No, it was Sunday.
It was
It's
Sunday.
only Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday.
Man, it really feels like that was so much longer
I
ago.
know. Anything else about Samurai Cop?
I just can't. It's so god awfully bad.
Yeah. Sorry.
Like
to feel that way.
literally every scene where they're focusing on somebody's face goes about 8 to 10 seconds too long.
Right.
So this movie has a runtime of, what'd you say it was?
96 minutes.
I'll bet you could edit this thing down just cutting out the long pauses on the facial reactions and the extra long sex scenes, you could get this thing down to about an hour and 5 minutes.
But I also would argue that I could edit the item and it'd be like a 10-minute short film. And I'd be perfectly content.
I'm just saying that the item was edited and filmed and acted better than Samurai Cop.
I hard disagree on that. I feel like the item was made to be an artsy, silly comedy.
Yeah.
And I did not laugh at all. And I feel like
Right.
I understand where you're coming from because the cinematography in Samurai Cop is not good at all. There's so much overexposure. There's so many
what
blue.
it is. Let's not call it as bad as it is. It is the worst filmed movie I have ever seen.
Mine's the item. I'm hard disagreeing with you on
I'm
this.
the item as well.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the overall
Film, you're talking
I'm
about-
talking about the filming of the movie.
The cinematography, that's what I'm saying. I
is
agree with
better
you.
in the item,
I would agree that the cinematography is better in the item.
which makes it easier to watch. At least
No, absolutely
At least it's not as
because
awkward.
The item had like it's a weird, stupid
Yeah.
They have their transitions that look in place for 1999.
right.
But as far as 1991 goes, and the way that Samurai Cop was thrown together with duct tape and a prayer, it is difficult
Yeah.
to watch. Like, it's hard to follow along.
But it's hilarious.
At least in the item, they're in one room for the majority of the movie.
I would say that they probably had one filming location
Yeah,
for the Samurai Cop as well.
As in, Samurai Cop was all over Los Angeles with, I'm going to guess, no permission to do.
Oh yeah, they're
anything.
like in a neighborhood,
Yeah.
and then that restaurant,
And I'll guarantee
and like the
you,
parking lot that they use several times.
I guarantee
and-
you, the guy in the restaurant actually works in that restaurant, and for them to use his restaurant, he had to be in the
Are you
movie.
talking about the guy that he?
Oh yeah.
So he is like super famous from this role now. Like he's like everyone's favorite character from the
Really?
movie, and he's in the second one because of it.
It's hilarious.
It was just awful.
But it led to hilarity. You'd get this intense, no, I wouldn't say intense, but you'd get this
This supposed
torture-
intense
torture scene with the pan of grease that's like has,
was just water.
that kept getting filled up and poured on top of this person over and over again. And then it just cut to Samurai Cop in a singlet and he's singing happy birthday to somebody. And you're like, what is going on? Because it was funny. The
But
cuts.
it wasn't supposed
I understand
to be
that, but
funny.
I thought that it was a
There were
better.
scenes that were supposed to
Yes,
be funny.
there are
Yeah.
jokes and what's, we call comedic relief.
Right.
Because this is supposed to be a serious action film. We are laughing at the parts that are supposed to be serious.
But
Because it's so ridiculous and so absurd and so terrible.
the film is
We're laughing at the item because we don't know what to do with the item because it's incoherent.
yes.
This movie is coherent, but good God, is it bad. It's like hard just to view it. It's so bad.
It's an entertaining. I can still watch it and be entertained by Samurai Cop.
I couldn't watch it again. There's no way in the world I could watch that movie again. I would get up and
So would
walk
you,
away.
given the opportunity,
I would
we all
watch
sit
the item
down-
again.
There's no way.
No way.
It's going to be 2 against 1
Yeah.
because
That's
not
fine.
gonna happen.
That's fine. I'm just saying my piece. I would watch the item again before I watch Samurai Cop again because at least the item isn't whatever the hell they were trying to do with that.
Right.
Because that is just
So
it's terrible.
I'm sorry. I'm going at worst to best, and it's got to be
it's the item. That's
the
fine.
item, and then Friday the 13th, and then Samurai.
Cop. I agree with that
I'd
100%.
give you whatever.
Samurai Cop was fun.
It was
That's
fun.
it. That is a huge redeemable quality in terrible movies. Like it was fun. Friday the 13th, I literally was like, this movie is shit.
Yeah.
The entire time I watched it.
And it's boring, but it's
It
still
is
watchable.
boring.
But it's still watchable.
It's
Right.
watchable.
The item is not watchable.
No.
It is
It's
not
not
fun.
watchable.
It is
It's nothing.
trash. It's uncomfortable.
Samurai Cop is only watchable because it's so
But
ridiculous.
your argument right now is the same as the people that play apples to apples back in the day, and they got mad when you didn't put like the real answer. You know what I mean? I played with a friend that would get mad because I would choose the funny answer and not like the one that made the most sense.
Right.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
I understand that.
Right.
I do. I'm just saying, for me, having to sit through Samurai Cop, I was just appalled.
Right.
Like, it was like, how can you call yourself any kind of filmmaker whatsoever when you're doing this?
Right.
This is a half a
They did
step
it for
above Cinemax
$7,000.
porn.
Yeah.
A half a step above Cinemax porn.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is.
Those were the best scenes.
And it's just...
At least the women look nice.
Yeah.
They got good actresses.
Terrible. So terrible.
But I know for a fact that you laughed more in Samurai Cop.
Again, I laughed because it was so bad. It wasn't because, oh my God, this is so ridiculously funny
Sure.
and they meant it to be funny. It was, I'm laughing because how can you seriously say that I made a film
Right.
and you're going to show me this?
Right.
This is your, oh, look what I made. I'm sorry. I've seen better films coming out of Central High School and Talented and Gifted.
Well, I agree with that. I'm not arguing that.
Yeah.
We're just talking about these 3 movies.
I understand that, but ooh,
So are you ready to...
Well, hold on. Have we recommended this? Because I would recommend this movie with stipulations. Like,
Yeah.
this is what you're getting. It's trash. Like,
Right.
But I would say it's funny and watch it because it's so ridiculous.
it's fun to watch. It was fun to watch in a group.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Like, if I had to sit down and watch
No,
this
this
thing
would
by
be
myself,
a perfect one to like go to a theater and watch with like 40 people,
For
like
sure.
The Trail.
Yeah.
Because everyone would be laughing at the same stuff. You know, like,
Exactly.
oh my God. Like,
This is
and then
insane.
everyone would be uncomfortable at the same time as well.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's the beauty, the ups and downs of
Sure.
Samurai Cop.
And then a lot of people would be like, that's racist.
Oh yeah, for sure. The only thing this movie didn't have was a non-Asian playing an Asian.
The only thing this
You know
movie
what I mean?
didn't have
Yeah.
was a thick slice of homophobia.
Right.
It only has a little thin slice.
Right. And stipulations could be that you have to watch it in a group of friends. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I will tell you that it's free on YouTube and the sex scenes are out.
Really?
Yep. It's like
Nice.
9 minutes shorter,
Uh-huh.
and it just skips right over the ridiculous sex scenes.
That's funny.
So if you want to watch it, like
With your kids.
with your
your
kids,
kids.
I
I mean,
mean,
if you're into torturing your children, go right ahead.
right, but I mean, it makes it not R-rated. You know, like
Palatable.
yeah,
PG-13.
And the sex scenes have nothing to do with any
Any
plot.
part of the
No.
movie.
So like it's smooth. It's just they're just not in there.
Right.
Right.
You'll still get some uncomfortable conversations with like the nurse and
Yeah,
so
but
on
I
and
mean
so
that's
forth,
okay.
But that's
Whatever.
hilarious. Lee, would you recommend Samurai Cop?
No, I would not.
All right.
It's so freaking bad.
I would also recommend it with the stipulation that I think I called it a 2 a.m. movie or a 3 a.m. movie where, you know, you and your buddies get back from home from the bar and you're all just hanging out and you're just wanting to put something on and you put on Samurai Cop and you laugh at the absurdity of the entirety of the
So
movie.
it's like, have you seen the movie Kung Pao?
Yeah.
So like that movie it's made to be that way, right?
Exactly.
Right, but it's still terrible.
Yes,
But
it's still
I
terrible
can
because they
quote
did a
that
bad
movie.
job.
I can quote that movie.
Right, Kung Pao-
I've seen it so many times.
Again, when you're trying to be absurd,
Right.
you get a pass.
Right.
But when you're trying to be a serious 90s action film, you don't get a pass from me because that is my wheelhouse. That's where all my chops were honed, was in the 90s. And if you're going to take my beloved 90s action movies and turn them into that, we got
Right.
problems.
Right.
Oh, God, it was bad.
So
Let me just say this. The headliner of this movie, was it Richard Zadar?
yeah, Robert
Robert Zadar.
Zadar.
If that's your big name, you've got issues. That guy couldn't act to save his soul.
Listen.
Yeah, I agree.
And yet he was samurai.
No, Mark Hamill. Mark
no,
Hamill.
no. If you watch the movie, Zadar was also samurai.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But he wasn't the Samurai Cop.
No, he was just samurai trash.
So do we want to rank them and what's
Would-
going to get the crown?
I think we heard our ratings.
I want Lee's like rank
Breakdown.
them.
Okay.
You want me to
Just
rank
which-
these three?
Yes.
Okay, as far as the worst movie, I'm
Right.
still going with Samurai Cop.
Okay.
It's just terrible to watch. Then The Item.
Okay.
And then Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't want to watch any of them ever again.
Okay. Fair
So
enough.
it doesn't matter how bad they are.
Right.
The Item, to me, is a worse movie than Samurai Cop
Right.
overall because I still don't understand what the hell we were doing in that movie.
Right.
It doesn't make
I
any
agree.
sense. At least Samurai Cop I can follow. You know, that we're going after this gang. That is the plot.
Right.
It was just, it gives me seizures having to think about this freaking piece of trash.
Okay.
It's so bad. But the item is just, it's incoherent, just babble and terrible.
Yeah.
But at least I can watch it. Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah.
I can't get over how bad it is.
Yeah.
But it's like 1A and 1B.
Right. There's no winner here.
No, there's no winner. They're all absolutely horrible. And I can't wait until next year to do it again.
So we had a successful Trashe Canne Film Festival.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I hope next year we can do this with more people.
Yeah, it was fun watching it with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So are we crowning the item as the worst?
I think we have to.
Yeah, I think The Crown is the worst. Yeah. The worst out of the entire bunch.
Yeah.
But I feel like the winner, that's kind of where I was wanting to get at.
I would say it's the worst movie.
The winner of the Trashe Canne Film Festival is the item.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
it's the worst
The
of the worst.
absolute
Yeah.
worst of the worst. I don't know if we ever have a grand champion of Trashe.
Oh, we're
tell
not
you-
watching these again.
I'll tell
No.
you, next year, everything will be scored against the item.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that just for 2024, it has the crown.
Yeah.
And then next year, there'll be a new crown.
So-
2025 crown.
So are we officially making all three of these an F tier movie?
Yes.
Are these all?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're all Fs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would give Samurai Cop maybe a D-. I'm not going to lie.
And this is what I was going to bring up is Lee said at the very end of Samurai Cop, I don't think I'm going to give that an F. I think I'm going to give it a D-.
I did hear you say
quote.
that.
That's a quote.
I didn't mean it.
I say we give Samurai Cop a D-.
I would argue that we should give it a D-.
I'm not.
So
there's no redeeming qualities of that movie whatsoever. Not
It's
one.
hilarious.
Even though it's got six
It's
set of
funny.
titties in it.
That is a huge
Yeah, it's
redeeming
a
quality.
and it has a plot.
F.
I'm
Okay.
going D-.
D-.
F minus.
Oh, no. You can't average
Yes, I
us
can.
out.
Yes, I can.
No, it's not an average though. So you gave it an F-.
I'm giving it an F minus.
D-.
minus,
I'll give it a
D-.
D+.
So now you're saying it's better than the raid.
No,
Yeah.
because we didn't give the raid a D.
No,
He did.
He did.
I did.
Did you give it a D- or
Yeah.
a D?
A D.
A D. Okay.
The D.
So overall, is Samurai Cop a D-?
It's an F.
I don't think it'll go on like our reviewed list.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think that
It's
it
an F.
has redeemable qualities.
I got you.
And has a cult following.
Oh yeah. You know, I could not find anything about the item. I mean, everything that I found
That's
was
because
just
only a select few have seen this movie.
yeah,
And let's hope we blow it up.
yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you guys so
Sorry
much for
to
coming
listen
on.
to us bitch about
Bitch
terrible
about-
movies.
Oh, yeah,
Awesome.
Podcast is bullshit.
It is.
Thank you,
Bullshit.
Lee.
Bullshit.
Have a good one. Hello and welcome to the Postcast. Just wanted to add one thing that most of the filming of Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, took place within Cunningham County, New Jersey, and as many would come to expect, Camp Crystal Lake is a fictional location. However, the original filming for Friday the 13th took place at a camp in Hardwick called Nobibusco. I also wanted to say thank you to all our loyal new listeners. Shout out to all our new listeners and subscribers. Thanks for helping us and supporting us on this journey. We invite you all to check out our Facebook group or check out our Reddit sub. Be sure to let us know what you think the movies should be rated or how they should be ranked or what movies we should record next. And be sure to follow us wherever podcasts are found. Look for our next episode Monday, September 16th as we review Grumpy Old Men for Lee's birthday. We hope you've enjoyed our program just as much as we did recording for you. Thank you, and stay tuned for our next episode.